Misery is usually a choice we make. This morning, I sent a message to an old friend who, like me, stood at a crossroads in life about 4 decades ago. Although we chose different paths, I've noticed that he hasn't traveled far on the path he selected over these 40 years. I thought I would create a detailed presentation based on the advice I gave him. I hope this will be helpful for younger people who find themselves at a similar crossroads in their lives. Misery is not reserved for the poor. Even those who seem to have it all can suffer deeply from a lack of understanding about their own lives. It's the inability to come to terms with one's situation that truly defines suffering. I know many who, despite facing financial struggles, find joy in what they possess. Their happiness stems from how they manage their circumstances, avoiding greed and working towards improving their lives. Conversely, many wealthy individuals live in misery because they cannot find contentment or meaning in their lives, often feeling empty despite their material success. Recently, I came across a video of a Tamil scholar who suggested that people should not meddle with the beliefs of the poor, even if those beliefs were fragile. He argued that we should allow them to live as they wish because their beliefs were their only hope. How appalling, sickening, and wicked! As educated individuals with a fair amount of enlightenment, shouldn't we aim to help those suffering from ignorance? If we know the truth, isn't it our duty to share it so that others can also find the happiness we found? Unlike organized religions, my mission is not to impart or impose beliefs on others. I aim to encourage people to read a translation of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita at least once. I have created several resources to help achieve this objective. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita teaches critical thinking rather than prescribing specific beliefs. As the scripture teaches, I encourage people to question, ask, and seek understanding. Upon gaining a fundamental understanding, one can see that there is nothing in this universe that doesn't make sense. Just because we may not understand something doesn't mean it lacks logic. It simply means our understanding is limited. Since February 2014, I have been running my blog and YouTube channel where I share my knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, various Sanskrit mantras, some key Upanishads, and the general teachings of Vedanta. Mantras serve to restrain, control, and strengthen the mind, directing one's energy towards self-improvement. Unlike prayers in organized religions, mantras and shlokas convey profound truth about existence. Unfortunately, many are misled by charlatans who claim that simply chanting mantras will miraculously solve their problems. This is a misunderstanding. Mantras are meant to be understood and require intellectual engagement. Once the mind transforms, so too does one's life. I have always urged people to prioritize delving into the Srimad Bhagavad Gita over all else. This is because the clarity gained from such profound knowledge provides an excellent foundation for starting any endeavor in life. Unfortunately, not many take this step. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself acknowledges the fact in the 7th chapter that only a few truly attempt to seek truth. Krishna says in Shloka 3 of the 7th chapter, "Out of thousands of men, hardly one tries to achieve perfection in self-realization, and among those trying so hard to do so, there is hardly one who achieves perfection in self-realization. And among those who do achieve self-realization, there is hardly one who truly knows me." And in Shloka 19 of the 7th chapter, Krishna says, "Therefore, after innumerable births, the one who has perfected his or her wisdom, understanding fully my universal reality, surrenders to me, and such an individual is very rare." Reflecting on my personal journey, by 1995, I had already experienced a highly eventful life. I was a movie stuntman and actor, and had by then tasted a bit of the tinsel world. However, due to the inherent dangerous and life-threatening nature of my work, I faced major accidents and near-death experiences. Tired of the recurring issues in my life, I realized that the common factor was myself. This prompted me to undergo a 48-hour-long tryst with myself, during which I introspected deeply. It was a life-changing experience that allowed me to identify my own flaws and abilities. Within just 4 years, my life transformed dramatically, as if a switch had been turned on, leading me to where I am today, almost 30 years later. This leads to the crux of the matter. Until one expects miracles from external sources, they can be certain that their misery will persist. The ultimate state in Vedanta is Sat-Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, and bliss. All pain, suffering, and discontent arise from the layers of impurities in the form of delusional ideas that we add to our original nature. As Ramana Maharshi pointed out, our fundamental nature is happiness, referred to in Vedanta as Sat-Chit Ananda. The Ananda or Rata bliss becomes disturbed when we add to it baseless ideas or beliefs known as Adhyarupa in Sanskrit. When the mind is clear and blank, we naturally experience bliss. It is only when we start to think or add thoughts to our experiences through the lens of our emotions or expectations that we invite sadness, pain, and unfavorable repetitive patterns into our lives, ultimately leading to suffering. This underlines the need to begin by completely cleansing our minds. We must shed all opinions and beliefs for which we have no substantial evidence. Many of these beliefs are merely formed based on our emotions and the assumed I within us. By doing so, we can help ourselves realize the ultimate truth that lies within. Observing our challenges from a distance allows us to witness them without emotional involvement. This perspective enables us to step back from our thoughts. It is important to recognize that emotions and intelligence do not coexist. When emotions dominate, critical thinking falters. This detachment facilitates critical thinking and better decision-making, ultimately leading to an improved quality of life. Think about this. In moments of true bliss, when the mind is blank, we experience peace. The reality is that it is our thoughts that create problems. By recognizing this, we can start to shed unnecessary layers and return to our true nature. In closing, I would like to share something that may not sound soothing to some, but it is the truth. Words born from my sweat, blood, pain, suffering, and experience. Change must come from within. Most people waste their lives expecting help from others, from non-existent beings that their society has trained them to believe in, or merely from luck. Transforming one's life demands a strong resolution and a firm decision. The choice between living miserably or happily lies within us. Many individuals inadvertently choose misery, thereby creating their own troubles. It's essential to remember that no one typically compels others to live in misery. It is a consequence of their own choices. From my personal experiences, I can confidently assert that I recognize the mistakes I have made in life and have faced their consequences. Make up your mind, take your decision, and plan your life with clear targets and principles. There is nothing more important than having a well-defined plan for your life. Also remember that if the way you start your day is not different from the other days, you can be sure your life will remain the same. There needs to be a complete shift starting from your daily routine. Once you make the decision and take the first step, it should be the new you who will never return to the hole of ignorance that had caused you misery in the first place. I encourage everyone to read or listen to my latest publication, the ever-relevant Gita, a present-day rendering by Tavamitram Sarvada. Doing so can provide new insights and understanding that may significantly improve your perspective on life. For those interested, please feel free to contact me via email with your questions, and we can explore this further together. Thank you. Stay blessed. Jai Shri Krishna.